Picture Detroit in its golden age, the 1920s. The Motor City looked very different. It was the height of the automotive dynasty during Prohibition, with all the glamour and the grit that came with it. The perfect setting for a gilded mystery by an internationally acclaimed author of historical fiction. She also happens to be a Detroit native. A Fortune of Sand is her debut adult novel, though Rita Sepetys has been writing crossover stories for years. We are thrilled to have her on the couch with us this morning. Rita, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your journey to this novel. I mean, you have been writing really great historical fiction with fabulous research for young adults for many years.
Yes, and I am interested in underrepresented history, stories that slipped through the cracks, or behind the dresser. Because I think when history remains hidden in the shadows, the people who experience that history, they feel misunderstood. And that's what led me to write A Fortune of Sand. Not many people know that Detroit was once considered the Paris of the Midwest. And so I was digging up all of these stories and put them all into this novel, A Fortune of Sand.
And talk to us about the process too, because obviously you do so much research to put in this. And so there are a lot of truths that are a part of this book. And being a Michigander, probably a lot of things that people will understand and know and possibly remember.
Yes, and also I think some things that people don't know. When I was researching, I discovered that in the 20s, there was a heist at the Detroit Institute of Arts. And I discovered it in the New York Times. It was nowhere in the Detroit newspapers at first. And so I thought, oh, what are we trying to cover up? And I started tracking footprints through the past on this story, uncovering. I ended up working with the FBI to pull this story together. So the research was great. Honestly, it took me 13 years. Wow. To track down all of this information, which I then wrapped around a fictional family, the Lennox family. And the story follows the youngest daughter, who's this heiress to the automotive, industry family. And she discovers a web of lies in the family and then has to face the terrifying truth. Just how far will a dynasty go to keep their secrets in Detroit?
Wow, I love that. And the heist at the DIA, I mean, that's crazy.
Crazy, completely crazy. And when my publisher was creating the cover, they said, oh, what colors do you want? And I said, oh, I think automotive steel and blue. And they said, you mean Michigan Lake Light? And I said, well, maybe. And I sent them a Pantone chip and they said, Honolulu Blue. And of course they said, what's that? I said, it's the Detroit Lions. The whole book is a love letter to Michigan. Yeah.
I love that. and talk about what made you decide you wanted to write this about Detroit. You've written many novels about it taking place in different places. What brought you back home?
Well, a couple of things. When I was researching the 1920s period, I realized that the dominant narrative of the 1920s, which is what? Flappers and jazz and speakeasies, it's not the complete picture. And Detroit had another picture, and Detroit is an uncombed historical wilderness. If people think New York, Chicago, or even Vegas, no, they've got nothing on Detroit. Yep. And so I wanted to shine a light in the darker corners of history and bring Detroit, up from the ashes.
I love that. I love that so much. And then I asked you this off camera because your novels are classified YA. This is your first one that's an adult, but you say you don't make that decision. It's the publisher that does, and that's what they're universally appealing, right? They can be called YA, but adults still love to read them, right?
Yes. And honestly, what determines if it's young adult?
Right.
The main character is generally a teenager, and in this, the main characters are adults. But still, my themes of finding hope through hardship and strength through struggle, that's Detroit, right? Resilience is an act of hope, and Detroit allows us to examine the architecture of hope, and that's what I'm doing through this book.
I love that. Resilience, that would be the defining factor, I think, of Detroit. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Rita, thank you so much. This book available now?
It's available now everywhere, wherever books are sold. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, thanks for making the trip. We really, really appreciate it. I cannot wait to get my hands on A Fortune of Sand. You can get it at Amazon, wherever books are sold. We'll be right back.